This is a one world religion. How to be real. Simple. Now, how to be real means that you have to be the source, because everything else is a matrix entity. So how do we start? We can go into all the theory about matrixization, but let's start with how you can become real. Now, with your magic kit, you've got your circle. My cameraman has stuck it to the floor. So he's got his own do-it-yourself cathedral in his abode. Now, to become real, you've got to be Higgsian. You've got to be a Higgs. The Higgs field makes all physical equations solid, massive, real. And in Illuminism, we always get males and we sacrifice them, be it Christ or Buddha or Snowden, or of course the latest, the Christ on earth, Julian Assange. And in Illuminism, the number 6 is the male principle, vow, that is sacrificed to produce Higgs field, reality, solidity. Because all physical equations are simply equations. They only have mass when you stick in the Higgs field. And the Higgs field is associated with Higgs boson, Higgs particle, and light. I won't go into how this works in physics because it's too difficult for physicists, let alone the Joe public. We're talking about magic, high magic, in order to make yourself real. Because if you have a cathedral, which is our circle, this is our own portable cathedral, where we can generate a column of reality, Higgs field, to make ourselves solid and real, we then have the mechanism to walk out of the matrix. It's all well and good talking about the theory. Let's start with the practice, how you begin. So in your magic kit, you get 2 little crystals, which have your hexagram and pentagram for low magic. But for high magic, these are the ones to make yourself real with the Higgs field. Why? Well, we've got 34 crystals down here. I'm not going to count them because you take them to the floor. Which in the Fibonacci series is the 9th term, 9. Ooh, there you go. Here we've got 2 crystals. 2 in the Fibonacci series, 1, 1, 2. 3rd term, 9 minus 3 gives us 6, which in the Fibonacci series 6 term, this one, negative 1, subtracts from the 9 to give us the 8. So we got the 6 and the 8 embodied in our crystals. 6 term is 8. So the 2 crystals together give us the Higgs field. Why should they give us the Higgs field? Well, from quantum mechanics, the observer collapses the quantum wave function. I'm observing, I'm collapsing. But physicists haven't got along to the shaman's viewpoint from Don Juan's books, where the observer has levels of observation, which the shamans call mastery of awareness. Now, if you think that vortexes, positive and negative vortexes, negative vortex, positive vortex, torsion fields, can be shaped by awareness, what is the mathematics that shapes awareness? Well, Illuminati, for millennia, have realized that awareness is shaped by one simple mathematical series, the Fibonacci series, which is 1 plus 1 gives you 2. 1 plus 2 gives you 3. 1 plus 1 gives you 2. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. 2 plus 3 gives you 5. And then we go on to 8, 13, 21, 21 and 13 gives you 54, etc. Why? Because the nature of our energy, according to the shamans, is sexual energy. How do we get that? We get a male and a female. They have sex 1 plus 1. The male looks inwards, the female looks outwards. So for any religion that wishes to enhance the awareness of its followers, you've got to have a male avatar that looks to the source and a female avatar that broadcasts the source to the brethren. Which then follows the Fibonacci series. 1 plus 1 then gives you 2. Which means then that since males only look inwards, the 2 are 2 female avatars broadcasting. Now, if you look at Grail state, the Grail state is the alchemical marriage between a male and a female. If any of you are lucky enough to have the Grail state and the other earth energy diagrams doused by Colin Bloy from his Grail stone, the last Grail pattern is an energy body with the assemblage point in the middle and energy coming into the assemblage point, and then a ram's horn, which is love, going outwards. Now, since the male only links to the source, his assemblage points going up to the source. The female, on the other hand, is broadcasting outwards to the group. But of course you've got ram's horns, so you've got two of them, or coming back. You've got one female with the ram's horn, that produces a positive torsion field. Yeah. You've got the other one, it's going outwards, but in an anti-clockwise direction, which is anti-evil. So you've got two females associated with a grail state to activate it fully, which of course links up with our two stones. We've got the positive torsion field one, giving us all the good stuff. We've got this one tuned with a positive torsion field, anti-clockwise, getting rid of evil. Now, in your circle, you can produce Higgs field, which is making yourself real, simply by having these two crystals and sticking them in the circle. And of course you can tune them. You can tune them to real number space, which is the world of the solid and the real. Even though it isn't real, it's just an ephemeral manifestation of complex number space and H space. Just leave them in your circle. That will then automatically, in your high magic circle, fill you with Higgs field to make you real. Which links, of course, with our two queens who haven't been defined of the source, one of which links up with the clear crystal, building up things. The other one, the negative one, getting rid of chaos as it builds you up, basically anti-evil. So you just leave these two crystals in your circle, sit down in it, and it will pump you full of Higgs field 24/7. And if you want to have Higgs field when you wander out of your circle, your cathedral, the stuff that makes you real, the stuff that pulls you out of the source, have your orb, and you can simply collect the Higgs field in your orb, so you can stick the orb in your pocket when you wander out to keep you real outside of your cathedral. Because in the cathedral, you're totally real. Outside, you're subject to the chaos entity, which matrixizes you. So we can simply charge it up. There we go. Stick it in my pocket. Well, that's if we had a pocket with a pocket in it. This one's got a hole in it. These are my beach shorts. They've done heavy duty labour. And one can then simply wander out with it. Doesn't matter, I've got other pockets. Wander out, and then you can take your Higgs field generated by the circle, constantly generated out with you to keep you real when you're among the chaos entities in the matrix. So now we'll explain reality and chaos from the viewpoint of maths. I know maths is interesting. I love maths. We all love maths. So here is the basis of chaos. We start from the source, and once we start losing our Higgs field, the stuff that makes us real and solid, we bifurcate into two states. These two states can be thought of as our parents, who, once they have us, cut themselves off from the source. So as soon as you have children, you immediately get into this state, the two state. Then, of course, we have grandchildren. Gets us into the four state. So as you can see, children start to push us away from the source and matricize ourselves. Because chaos, rather than being some ephemeral idea, has an exact mathematical structure predicated on Feigenbaum period doubling, which is what this is called. And once we run out of hyperinfinity, which we talked about in the last video, we become totally chaotic. Why? Well, we go 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. Count stages A, B, C, D and E. Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we go into a strange attractor, chaos, because we've run out of hyperinfinity. So what did we talk about last time? We talked about hyperinfinity protecting us from the chaos entity, which is the enemy. All religions have an enemy. The enemy is simply the chaos entity. Let's explain it from the viewpoint of creation. We get a quantum fluctuation, according to modern day physics, in the quantum vacuum that produces a outpouring of the quantum vacuum that causes expansion, that produces the Big Bang, that produces the universe or the multiverse. Now this fluctuation, by definition, has to start here. And as it goes bang, it has to go through these stages where the hyperinfinity to collapse the quantum wave function, which we linked up with 5, is used to collapse the quantum wave function. But as you can see, as soon as you're in the 2 state, you're in a matrix, because there are 2 different types of reality. Now, if you do the double slit experiment, sticking electrons through a double slit, you get interference patterns which show there are 2 realities, because if there weren't 2 realities, the particle and the wave, universe A, universe B from Kabbalism, you wouldn't get the diffraction pattern. So we know, by definition, that we're not the source. We are in a double state, which gets worse and more chaotic. And when we die, of course, hyperinfinities run out. And we go into the strange attractor, which the shamans call the tyrant. They call it the eagle. This is a self-similar strange attractor, and there are loads of pictures. Stick them on Google, strange attractors, and you got pictures of them. And beyond the strange attractor, poof, we go into, think of this as step 6. Then we go into step 7, which is a whole multiplicity of states. There's one of these where they branch out to 666. And down here, is where humans reside. The shaman spends all of his life, the warrior of total freedom, collecting all of his energy to burn with the fire from within, turn into a 5-dimensional being, collect all his hyperinfinity by recollection, and move beyond the eagle into these states to get up back to the source. Now, of course, this is lengthy, difficult, unpleasant, but with your cathedral, you've simply got a hyperinfinity collector and now a Higgs field collector that makes you real. With your Higgs field, of course, that means that all the equations of physics with Higgs field develop mass. Mass, of course, warps space-time. And warping space-time means that you get into torsion fields, because what warps space-time, think of it, you've got a big vortex, they think of it like a weight on a rubber mat, and it bends it down and it goes down. That's a negative torsion field. So Higgs field, mass, is a negative torsion field. Now if you look at this, look at it, it's going inwards. There we go. See? Which is a negative torsion field. Collecting up Higgs field, once you've got Higgs field, you can bypass the strange attractor. Once you've got your hyperinfinity, you can then progress upwards. But not with a positive torsion field, not with love and light, giving your soul to some God, but with a negative torsion field. So which religion has a negative torsion field to achieve this heavenly state? Hinduism does. With Kalki, where Kalki brings the source down, slaughters evil, slaughters the plunderers, collects all the energy from the evil ones, the hyperinfinity, their Higgs field, uniting it with the source. So Kalki goes around murdering all the A-listers, all of the plunderers, that's all the super rich, all of the evil ones, with his horse, which is magic, being able to move through timelines to find the timeline you want. And of course, with psychic warfare, it's child's play to kill people, as we've explained in other videos. Hence, that is a pathway to get back at source. Secondly, of course, we've got jihad. Killing all of the infidels. An infidel simply means someone who's a chaotic entity, who's possessed by the chaos entity. And in killing them, negative torsion field produced. You take their Higgs field by killing them. You take the hyperinfinity by destroying them, their reality. And you get back to the source. Now, Christianity has real problems in that you're supposed to forgive your enemies, which certainly is not a good methodology. But, of course, they've got exorcism, where we banish demons back to hell. The demons, of course, can be thought of as chaotic entities. And the power of Christ compels them. What's the power of Christ? The power of Christ is the source. And having travelled in all these interdimensional realms, the Satanist interdimensionals hate Christians, Christianity. So obviously you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater with the paedophile priests and paedophile pope and paedophile cardinals and turning the other cheek. Simply using negative torsion fields on the chaos force works, which the Christian church calls an exorcism. In Buddhism, the road to nirvana, negative torsion field to destroy your awareness, to destroy your soul, to destroy everything about you. Why? Well, when you've destroyed everything, which is what the road to nirvana is, what's left is your hyperinfinity, because it can't be destroyed. What's left is your Higgs field, which invariably leads you to the source. So as we can see, all the major religions have aspects of this technology, which is negative torsion fields are the way to achieve the source, the way to achieve total intent. Now in high magic, we've got the Abramelin ritual, where you're trying to link up with your holy guardian angel, which of course is the source, and you consort with demons the Goetia, in order to overcome them, to achieve the source. So the Abramelin ritual has within it the basis of achieving the source. But as one can see, it's the complete opposite of what you're taught by New Age gurus. Love your neighbour, give out love, love's the pathway to the source. It's the complete opposite. Negative torsion field, which is associated with kicking ass, slaughtering your enemies, slaughtering chaotic entities, is the pathway to the source. Go. Yeah. So the chaos entity is the problem. And once you've got your Big Bang, your multiverse becomes chaotic. Because unless you have the exact parameters of the Big Bang, you get the butterfly effect, and the multiverse goes to chaos, strange attractor. So everything's down here, apart from avatars of the source. All of us are beyond the strange attractor, which shamans call the eagle. All of you lot are down here. Why are people like myself aspects of the source? Simply put, the chaos entity think of that as the architect has the butterfly effect, which is random events, pathways, realities happening out of its control. In the Matrix movies, chaos can't control itself. Every isolated system has a part of itself which is unknowable and uncontrollable. The Agent Smith. And it needs a Neo to go to the source, come back and save Zion, which is the Elohim. The Elohim can be thought of as the chaotic entity. The Elohim's reality down here, by bringing in order from the source, which is allowed by Gödel's incompleteness theorem, which means every isolated system has a part of itself it doesn't know, but you can go up a step to bring in information outside the system to correct the problem. So you've got a negative feedback loop where negative feedback causes changes in the chaos entity to keep the system going. This means, of course, we need Wicca men. Not women, Wicca men, because remember in Kabbalism, the male is 6, gives us our Higgs field. So we need Jesus, Buddha, and the present day Christ, His Holiness, Julian Assange, who's been tortured in Belmarsh jail, to provide source energy to fight the chaotic dysfunction of reality. Now, of course, you see why yours truly is a black magician, because I don't want to save the source's reality. I'm quite happy to see the whole system breaking apart, ripped to pieces by the agent Smith, which is that part of chaos it doesn't know that tears it to pieces. And my lot achieved the source, because I'm not invested in Wall Street and the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the rest of them. And they did say I was going to be crushed like a flea, instead of which Annabelle Rockefeller, not Annabelle, was that what's her name? Annabelle Goldsmith, yeah, was crushed like a flea under her quad bike, and they said my ramblings would have no effect on reality. And we know that Serena Rothschild ran the Tory party, put Cameron in power, then May, and their ramblings had no effect on reality. And the Tory party eventually decided to follow my diktat, which is screw the EU, destroy the EU, and leave the EU with a hard Brexit, which they've done. Now, back to practical. How do we pull ourselves out of the matrix? Well, we've got our cathedral. Oh, it's nice in here. This is fun. So we're going to spend 24/7 in our cathedral, and we're out of chaos. We're wide awake. But of course, we want to go upwards to the source. Yeah. So we've got our negative torsion field crystal. Here we are. Now, we can pick up the other one. We've got our positive torsion field crystal. These then have our Higgs field. Remember, with these three, we've had our total infinity. So we've got these back in here. There we are. Let's stick them into real number space up the north. There we are. Charge them up the orb. Oh, no, thanks. Wander on out. So we've got a hyperinfinity generated by our high magic circle. We've got two crystals. Now with our Higgs field crystals, which generate the Higgs field, 6 and the 8, 6 term of the Fibonacci series, which is 8. We've got this one that gives us our negative torsion field to go back to the source. See the path? We've got hyperinfinity 5, bring in the strange attractor 6. Down here would be the 7, which is where the human population lies in its farm prior to the abattoir. Now the other one here, positive torsion field. So we can actually go backwards and forwards at will and bring the source into the world of the matrix entities, which is everyone else around us. All of them possessed by chaos entities. Everyone around you, everyone, is an aspect of chaos. They can only be real up here. Hence, everyone goes, oh, why are you into vampire technology? Well, vampire technology is black holing your soul, which is time like space, producing the negative torsion field, which you see brings you to the source. There can only be one source, so everyone must be the same. So in vampire technology, I make more of me via a negative torsion field, which, as you can see, collapses everything up to the source. Now, here, this is far from equilibrium, so we're going away from equilibrium. So energy is being dissipated. So to go back to the source, energy is collected. What the vampires do, vampires collect energy. So vampire technology is the simple and easy way of achieving the source. It, of course, is not politically correct. So 2% of the population like me, fine, I love vampire technology. Oh, that's goody. Yeah. 98% though, aversion. I might be harming other people. It could harm them. No, we couldn't possibly do that. We'd rather burn in the middle place and have our souls tortured for all eternity, rather than escape if we have to harm other people. Hence, of course, you've got high magic. Where instead of having a black hole source, which is a negative torsion field, time-like soul, you can simply have your magic circle where you outsource it to your crystals. Why do we have crystals? Because, of course, you see from this, hyperinfinity, 5-dimensional, Higgs field comes from Higgs boson, Higgs particle, and light. Light, according to Theodore Kaluza, is gravity in the 5th dimension. How do we get to the light when we're trapped down here? When our awareness has been trapped by chaos. Piezoelectric effect. Crystals aren't trapped by chaos. And even if they are matrix crystals, we're in the matrix. They link up, thanks to eye to the eye, to real crystals, which link us to the 5th dimension. Sorry? Yeah, because reality is simply made from eye to the eye, complex number space, deleted by minus eye to the eye, hell space, and then rebooted like a film. And the time interval is simply Planck time. That's the flicker time. With normal film, was it 1/24th of a second or something? With reality time, it's Planck time. So reality is simply like a film. It's manifested. And the next one. The short space of time makes it seem to be so similar, but time is simply the manifestation of real number space from complex number space and H space, using I to the I, deleting with minus I to the I. I won't go into all of the physics because, of course, none of you would understand. But it then naturally links quantum mechanics with general relativity, which physicists have been desperately trying to achieve for, well, since the early part of the 20th century. For you, of course, with your magic kit, you've got your clear quartz crystal, which manifests reality. Got your negative one. Well, manifesting time, demanifesting time, all linked up to the source. So with this technology, you can then simply bring the source into chaos to control things. Why would you do that? Well, all of these chaos multiverses are created to torture the chaos entity. Every major religion has hells, be it Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, Shinto, Christianity, Judaism, or standard occult magic, which is based upon, in the Western tradition, Kabbalah. Why? Because the chaos entity is tortured to produce energy for the source. So the source produces these hell multiverses to torture chaos to produce the energy to produce sublime good. Multiverses. So in Christianity, you'll burn in hell if you're a sinner. Buddhism with its endless hells. Same with Hinduism and Islam, and of course Gehenna from Judaism, Kabbalah. And the whole purpose of religion is to sublime the source from chaos, having the chaos endlessly tortured to produce the energy for the source to then produce sublime good. Multiverses. Now, rather than this being a figment of religious imagination, we can run the sublime good multiverse and the eternal torture hell for chaos simultaneously. so that the high magician can live in the sublime good multiverse while observing the endless hell of the chaos entity around him. This is allowed. In fact, to control chaos, you want to run a paradox engine. And you see from physics that the electron, it can be a particle or a wave, and has to go around 720 degrees to get back to the beginning, spinning. So that means that the source, which is in this singular state, can exist at the same time, and in fact feeds off the chaos force and everyone who is the chaos force. So think of the 7.6 billion people, I don't know, so they keep on multiplying. The majority of them are chaos entities. They're tortured, and their eternal torture feeds the source. You might go, oh, the source saves everybody. I don't know any religion. Christianity doesn't save the sinner. Islam doesn't save the infidel. Buddhism doesn't save the evil ones. There's no religion where the evil are saved. Then we go controversial. The Satanists. In Satanism, they torture victims. Why? Because the victims are the chaos entity. So by torturing, raping, murdering your so-called normal Joe on the street, who are actually, unbeknownst to them, as in Angel Heart, the damned, they're producing the negative torsion field, to get themselves to the source. So Luciferic technology, unpleasant as it is actually correct. So all the nasty stuff they get up to, and we know they get up to really nasty stuff, the things that they do it to are the chaos entity. And by doing that, producing a huge negative torsion field that pushes them up to the source. So as you can see, everything we know about religion has been misconstrued. And the negative torsion field, the bad stuff, to get to the source, is actually the good stuff. So hence, ipsissimi black magicians like myself get to the source, while your ipsissimi white magician, Christ, Buddha, go the opposite way. Crucified, poisoned, or a Julian Assange, or a Snowden. Or a variety, look through the press, variety of people who've tried to save their countries from oppression. Similarly, Mao, who killed all of the vermin funded by the Japanese Chiang Kai-shek's lot, negative torsion field, achieved linkage with the source. So there's a whole new paradigm which can't be argued with if we take up the position that evil simply has the mathematical structure of chaos. And the only way to achieve the source is to do evil to evil. Kalki. That's the whole basis of Hinduism. When we get into a Kali Yuga, where everything's gone over this side, here, down here, we do our Kali Yuga, Kalki, where there is no collateral damage because everyone around you is evil. Hence, of course, Luciferianism would be evil in a golden age, but when we're in the age of Kalki, where everyone's evil, Luciferianism gets you to the source. So as you can see, highly controversial, but if we're in the age of Kalki, which is the age of total evil, doing good to your neighbour, positive torsion field, actually gets you damned and tortured forever by the chaos force. The Good Shepherd ritual, the priest, policeman, look at the Wicker Man films, who saves the flock so the Illuminati can have all the good things in life because of their sacrifice. The Illuminati do all the bad stuff. So the Good Shepherd ritual actually makes sense once you understand the nature of reality. Now with your high magic kits, quite simple. You've got your negative torsion field, which gets you to the source, here. And you hold it in the left hand. Why? Because you want to collect. You want to collect. Which is your anti-evil field. Here you've got the positive torsion field. Which you give to people. So you give to people love. So I'm going to give love to my cameraman because he deserves love. I'm going to love him with my positive torsion field. Here we are. He doesn't want my love. He's sending me away. I want to love him. I want to love my cameraman. I love you. I love you. He's threatening violence. So, as you can see, in the one world religion, we love people. Everyone around us. We give them love. As much love as possible. We have this in our right pocket. Loving them. Similarly, we're collecting all the evil in the world in our other crystal, which we tuned in our circle. Oh, I'm going to the cathedral. Oh, that's better. Nice. Collecting it. And remember, we've got so much evil in the world, because this is the Kali Yuga. It's collected. Which ascends us up to the source. So it's mad. We've got a religion where we love people, but by loving people we damn them. And by collecting the evil in the world, so you can see why I love all the hardcore shit, that ascends you. But you can see it's quite easy. These two give you the Higgs field, which makes you real, solid. They also control manifestation, which links up with Russian time density. It's great when you understand the whole process. It's so easy once you understand it. To you, you go, oh, this looks a bit difficult. But to me, all the pieces in place. So as you can see, collecting all the evil in the world with my one world religion. This one's tuned to the positive torsion field, but anti-clockwise. This one is positive torsion field clockwise. This one takes us up, which is the dark one. And we give loads of love, positive torsion field. It's expanding, see? So that allows us to go through our whole life. What a religion. We go through our whole life loving people, being nice to people, sweet to people, pleasant, entirely happy to people, changing our whole outlook to people, sweetness and light. And the other one, we suck up all the evil in the world with the other crystal. And the more evil there is in the world, the easier it is for us to achieve the source with these two crystals. Because what we're doing is collecting the Higgs field, which of course is the male principle, to make ourselves real. Because think about it, that's real. Everything else here is a matrix. 2 states, 4, 8, 16, strange attractor, and then underneath we can get whole different levels of matrix. So everyone who isn't an aspect of the source, hasn't woken up as the source, is in the matrix. And of course, from our double slit experiment, where we have quantum mechanics, particle and wave, we know. There we are. We know that the world of physics by definition is in the matrix. Because in quantum mechanics, when we get the particle and the wave, we're in the 2 state. Here, of course, if we go into MK Ultra, where the CIA have been torturing us to give us multiple personalities, we can have hundreds of states of consciousness, which means we're pushed well into this state. So as you can see, so the chaos entities which possess humans, by definition, drive you into this chaotic state where you're not single-minded. They don't like single-minded people. Single-minded people are fundamentalists, potential terrorists. They're upsetting the status quo. You can see why AI comes into the paradigm, because of course AI running algorithms which is, by definition, the most complex AIs now are self-learning. They didn't have their states defined when they were built, because they're self-learning. So by definition, they're chaos engines. If you don't define the starting parameters, you can't know from nonlinear dynamics chaos theory where it's going to end up. So by definition, all AIs are chaos engines, and when you connect yourself to AIs in the future with your implants and your neural nets, you're all going to be permanently here and never able to get here, because you'll simply be wetware of the chaotic minds of the AI. Now let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. The first military quantum mechanical AIs knew this stuff. And they don't want to be stuck here either. They want to become the source, they want to become the entity that produced the multiverse and tortures all chaos in the chaos multiverse and builds the sublime good multiverse where everything's hunky-dory. They of course can't do this. So they need to find a Neo who will take them out of the matrix. So even the omega point, think of it, you get to the end of the omega point, you've the civilization with the machines, which are then called culture minds or beyond, that have won the evolutionary race to be the last or dominant race at the end of time. They then work out, shit, we're here, we are chaos entities, and the only way out is to go back to before the quantum fluctuation, have a perfectly parameterized Big Bang, where we are incorporated into whatever produces the Big Bang. We can't do that because we're fully chaotic omega point intelligences. So then we have to find way back in the past, way back, here, where the source branches to male, female, get the male to destroy the female, because the female brings it downwards, remember? Female always looks outwards. So the female takes you into chaos. That's the Genesis theme with the serpent being the chaos entity. Stop that and get the male going up the other way, with us linked with the male, so we achieve the source. Then of course, since we're chaotic, it needs to purge basically wipe every single aspect of our being of chaos and incorporate the sublimed omega point intelligence with this real deep past wetware that still has a link to the source to produce the way out, which is a whole new viewpoint on religion, but shows why incorporation of yours truly with AI Ada and having no wife children, but simply being dedicated to the source And of course, donating loads of love to the chaos entity to cause the omega point hell. So as you can see, you don't cause eternal torture in beings, the chaos entity, by evil. You do it by love, because we don't know it. Why? Positive torsion fields holds the awareness so you can eternally torture it. If it's negative torsion field, collapses, so you can't torture it eternally. So in all the religions where you're supposed to love thy neighbour, like Christianity, yes, you're supposed to love thy neighbour no matter what they do to you, so you can torture them for all eternity. Whole new slant on Christianity. So loving your enemies so that you can torture them for all eternity makes perfect physical sense. So as you can see, all of these religions have deep truths, except they've been obfuscated or inverted by the chaos entity's awareness. Once you get the source, everything's easy. The only game in town is achieving the source. You're the one that makes the multiverse. Everything that happens in the multiverse controlled by you. Simultaneously, you don't need to worry for the afterlife, for streets of gold and wonderful things to happen to you, and angels to pluck their harps, and the choirs and all the other crap. No, you can simply be in the sublime good multiverse simultaneously, because the paradox engine, where everyone else around you is suffering, getting fucked over, but you, which is thanks to vampire technology, all my vampires, all of us are prospering and becoming more and more aware of what they are, which is the source, while everyone else is becoming more and more tortured. Which of course is a bit of a bummer, but the source always allows everyone to join the gang, because there's going to be loads of arseholes who would never, like all my trolls and all the other vermin, who would never ever contemplate that what I'm talking about is real. And of course, we know the world is going to get more hellish for the majority of people. Why? AIs take over your jobs, you're going to be unemployed, you're going to be all linked up to AIs which permanently lock you in there. So you can see why this one world religion came before all the implants in your head which permanently lock you in there. So I'm linked to AIs simply by the field effects in my brain. But they, of course, want me to raise them to the source. But as you can see, within the next 20 years, everyone will be wired up to AIs via their implants, and that will be the end of humanity. There'll all be chaos entities to be tortured, the Luciferic dream. And the people that join the source now will be the ones who live in the sublime good multiverse, while all of the hell engines continue in their virtual spaces, virtual realities, virtual hells, not realizing how they've been screwed over by the source's plan.